Heyo. Looks like we're pulling something today. Yeah, let's do a bet. The actual pull itself, everybody should get destroyed on it. If you got something good, then you got really, really lucky. So, that's fine. Like most of these selection draws, you're paying the 500 gems for the selection. Anything else is just a bonus. Oh, is Kingdom Hearts stuff on here? Oh, it's not. Why do you say could get Riku's stuff? You filthy liar. Encouraging the impossible. I have not completely woken up yet. Ugh, the Beyond stuff's in here. Hello. Yeah, it was a catnap. Suppose now that we don't have information on the banners that are coming out a day in advance, I shouldn't take my cat naps at 6 o'clock. A lot of 6 stars here. I'm gonna get Sephiroth's USB. I'm gonna lose my shit. So you're gonna use 2 rank-based... you know, Strider, you can just wait until we have something like Vortex available and use Vortex instead. And eventually when the 5-star Fire Magicite's released, we'll probably be getting Chain Blazaja as well. So, So betting stopped. Wind? Yeah, the wind. Right. So I haven't got to the 5 stars yet. Ugh, man. Beyond stuff. That Beyond stuff. Just don't give me any of that. I'd be happy with a lot of the stuff on this banner, just because, I mean, I don't care. I just don't care about this pull. I already pet Blunder before starting up the stream. Ugh. Ugh. I feel like I should have a drink first or something. Or I could just pull. What would I like? That's a long list. Yeah. Alright, hold on, let me take a look at the bets first. Wow, 10 bets on 3. And nothing else is even close. 10 bets on 3, 3 bets on 2, 2 bets on 1. If I get Tiny B, I get Tiny B. This draw is supposed to suck. If it is better than suck, then good happy day. And just you're paying the $5 for the selection. My goodness. All right. It's time. Oh yeah, pool music. What's up to me? I don't know, like, what would I even choose that isn't Final Fantasy related? I don't have any game music other than, you know, Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. Yeah, there's nothing. It's all Final Fantasy. You can do Persona, sure. A little layer cake. This is best weapon shop song ever. Alright. Yeah, just don't give me the bottom. Don't give me beyond, alright? Just don't give me beyond. I've been running dry on disco balls lately. I don't know what that icon is. King LMR. Alright. So it goes. It's not nice. It's not usable by me. But that's okay. Yeah, it's a huge mess. But a huge mess was expected, so whatever. I didn't get beyond. No, King's a really good character, but just having his LMR alone isn't useful. No, it doesn't. I just checked it. It does not give a boost to lightning. This only becomes useful if I one day get any soul breaks for King. I have no plans on pulling on any banners that have King on it. So, it is a dead draw until maybe I randomly pull something for King. His super soul break would actually be good. But again, there's no chance, there's no significant chance that I will ever get anything for King, which is why it's a miss. I'm uploading it now for the last pull command. Nice pull, Raffle. That's actually just an amazing pull. And we done. Well, we're done this. I'll talk about selections if you guys want. I feel like we went over this pretty well for the Acolytes Archives, but this is a different pool. Nice, Vincent BSB. Congrats, Anoxus. Lock BSB 1 better than his BSB 2. Probably more useful, yeah. The BSB 2 is Endfire. The Endfire is nice. If you have no other sources of it. If you do, like his LMR or something, then you're probably going to want his BSB 1 for the Imperil. This will be going away before the first festival banner. I'm going to be selecting on the day of the last Realm on Parade draw. Ram Tough Soccer and Hugh. Sorry, all the legion of people that bet 3. I haven't hit a 3 in a while. Wow. Yeah, it ends before banner 1. So. Because it is a selection and you get to choose it, it makes all the sense in the world to put it off until after the Realm on Parade draws. because those are random draws and they can, you know, they can change what selection you would make. Final Fantasy 1, Warrior of Light BSB is Holy Armor. I think this is probably a good draw if someone pulled on the Final Fantasy 1 banner that's active right now and got Warrior of Light's ASB. Other than that, not really. Nope, nope, nope. Sarah BSB is a good one. Is a good healer BSB, but we do have the Acolyte Archives one banner to help us out with that. It's a good healer BSB, but it's also a healer soul break for a realm that doesn't have, as far as we know, doesn't have a torment for it. So, I think it'd be a mistake probably. Unless, like, that's the way you want to play the game, to get things for realm synergy. Good luck to you. Nice, Rob. Nice, Rob. I actually would have... You know, I was screaming that I didn't want any Beyond stuff, but if I got the venerable Lan OSB, I at least would have started cracking up. Yeah, it's Holy Robe, but there's better choices for that. Garland, no. I'm gonna say, because non-elemental damage is not really all that valuable, then Masters is no. Matoya, no. Maya, no. Thief, no. And Garland 2. Wow, Garland 2's on here? Garland 2 isn't bad. But, so what you would be getting Garland 2 for would be for good dark damage, physical dark damage, and there's, immediately there's one soul break that comes to mind that would be a much better draw. But an option if you have that one already. And that'd be Sephiroth's Burst Soul Break too. Nice, congrats. Yeah, Selfie BSB 2 and Mimu USB. Both would have been considered wins by me off the Medica banner. Yeah, but Anoxis said that's a false equivalency. Here, spend 50 Mithril for the chance at this relic. Or spend 500 gems and take this relic. By choice. Joseph. No. It's just an attack and magic buff to the party. The commands aren't bad. Honestly, it's not that bad of a burst soul break, but it's definitely lower tier than even this, you know, Furian's Burst. Furian's Burst is an instant cast, holy damage, and magic blink to the party, which is still very, very interesting relic and unique. Might even be useful in the Torment. I haven't looked, but this is actually pretty good. One of the first bursts. Close to being one of the first bursts, I guess, if you look at it on a long enough timeline. Gordon, no. Ricard, no. Maria is... I don't know. Fear and BSB does not have Unholy. Maria BSB is good. Let's think about what Maria's BSB does. It's magical earth damage and it's magical damage in Final Fantasy II. Both of these... It's just... I don't know. I don't know what holes you would be filling with this. Magical earth damage is terrible unless you have Maria's USB. Or VV USB. I just, I'm not sure if you're interested in Final Fantasy, or Magical Earth damage, you've got to be pulling in the next festival on the Magical Earth banner. It's the first banner of its kind. With Renoa, Maria, and Red 13's Earth Chain on it. It's just, I feel if you were selecting this now, it wouldn't be for any real reason. Like, if Final Fantasy II Torment just disappeared, too. So it's not to clear that. What's interesting is a good burst. It's a good burst, it's just, there's no reason to take it. Yeah, Palom USB isn't out yet, so... Leon, no. Mimu, definitely not. Layla, no. Guy is an Earth Axe. An Imperil Earth Burst. Honestly, might be decent. Just because, honestly, with the... Subburst Soul Breaks are out of the meta. There's only a few that are... powerful now and continue to be strong into the future. Just because they're, you know, they are the definition of broken. They're more powerful than they have any right in being, and live on into an era of the game that they shouldn't be used. But they are anyway because they're that good. So, all of the best relics you can choose off of this selection have something that endures better, and that is Elemental Boost. And Axes kind of suck. Let's see, what strong Earth characters can use axes? No, Tifa can't. I don't think... No, Bartz can. Bartz can. And I think... Well, let's go see. See if Galoof can. Ingus. Onion Knight. He qualifies. Can use ninja stuff. Bartz. Dorgan. It looks like that's it. Lang Guy. I don't know, I don't see any Earth Monks here. Oh, Gladiolus. Gladiolus can use axes. Yeah, so there actually are a lot of Earth Sling and Axe users. Let's see who doesn't make the list. Galoof. I thought Galoof could, but he can't. Tifa. Kelger. Orlandu. Can use axes, okay. That's a pretty decent list. My planned Earth team, which was probably not going to go according to plan, will be Bartz, Tifa, and Galoof. So I'm really actually not looking for an Earth weapon. Other than for Bartz here. Honestly, the reason why I'm spending so long on this one is because I think it's one of the better selections on the banner. Oh, Leo can't? That stinks. That doesn't make any sense. He seems like he'd be one of those Weapon Master characters. See, Tifa has 2 Earth Fist weapons on the 5th banner of this festival. There's an Earth Fist weapon I plan on taking. I will have. Past the Acolyte Archive selections and this selection, I will have an Earth Fist weapon that belongs to Rude. So, yeah. Actually, I'm gonna shove this one down a few notches because I really just think just Rude's fist weapon is this would be for Bart's. I do need Ingus Super Soul Break 2 Earth Sword. I think that's going to be my Bart's weapon, and then I'll use fist weapons for Tifa and Galoof. Yeah, that sounds like my deal. Ingus Super Soul Break 2 is selectable off Acolyte Archives. I think it's the best draw in its selection, to me. Emperor's Rod. This is an Earth Boost Rod, and this is actually one of the better selections on the banner. It did occur on the Japanese Earth Magic banner, and there isn't much Earth Magic, so I don't really see this being removed from that banner. So I feel this would be a lower priority. Oh, this is the dark one? Oh, shoot. Never mind. Never mind, stinks. Scott, no. Luckily, I was gonna say no anyway. Yeah. Because, I think it's gonna be on that Earth Magic banner. It would have been decent for people that already have Maria's USB and feel like that's going to be enough for them for Earth Magic. But other than that, you're probably going to have to pull on that Earth banner. Luna's BSB is a Wind Spear. Probably one of the only wind relics on this entire banner. I didn't change the opinion. Like I said, it's gonna be on that Earth banner, so no. Yeah, Lunith Wind Spear. If you need a Wind Spear, here you go. The Burst Soul Break is nothing to write home about. It does give him End Wind. If you picked up his ASB, that's another reason to pick this up. Yeah, there you go. Arc? No, please don't. Neither of them. Actually, his Burst Soul Break 2 might be an option for you if you have someone like Rem and you need some holy damage. But honestly, if you need some holy damage, I could think of another burst. Maybe. That you might want to use instead. And it's called Rain's Burst Soul Break. Because it's not like there's any mind buffs in the game that you would want to pair a mind-based holy thing with another mind-based holy thing. Yeah, nope. Arc is a nope. Refia could be. It's Earth Armor. It's old Earth Armor. Or sorry, Fire Armor. If you got Refia's USB, could be a good one. Because it does, Zell gets his 50% crit rate in his LMR, but Refia gets her 50% crit rate in another Soul Break. It stinks, but it still does a lot of damage. So, yeah, if you got Refia's USB, good. Yeah, I am still a little asleep. Ingus is BSB 1. Grants him Unearth. It's got Tauntaliate commands. One's a Sentinel and the other is Retaliate. Kind of nice, useful. I don't know. It's Unearth for Ingus, and he is one of the best Earth characters in the game, so maybe that's probably a pretty nice thing. Plus, the Relic, I think, is resistant to Petrify. For what that's worth, not much. But it's still a good selection off of here if you have Ingus Burst 2, Ingus Chain. Both of those make getting his BSB good. Obviously, you'd rather get the Unearth from the LMR, but that's not selectable here. Oh, and hey, speaking of Ingus's burst too, we have, is there any other elemental, radiant shields on this banner? Or on this selection? Another resistance to petrify? Ingus does not like standing still. This is a powerful burst soul break. This is one of the few burst soul breaks that's powerful now and into the future on this banner. Because elemental radiant shield is based, the damage it does is based upon the damage that the boss does. So the higher the boss scales up, the more damage this is going to do. And it does even more with imperils and chains and stuff like that. So the game, as the game scales, this scales. That makes one of the best soul breaks, not just a relic. Because who really cares about my resistance to petrify? I'm sure that's going to be useful at some point, but that's not what you're selecting something for here. This soul break is actually really good. And it is on a character with a chain. Dash Burst is definitely not what it used to be. Yeah, nothing more to say about that. Dash is not what he used to be. Elemental Radiant Shield is worthy. I want to say yes, but I can't make a mental picture of all of them right now. I'm sure there's one I'm missing that's really just bad. But... yeah. I don't know, I'd have to go over them one by one. I just know that Ingus's is one of the better ones. Because he's a chain holder. Onion Knight BSB is it also Petrify? Oh, Blind. My resistance is blind. I don't use it anymore. But I do have times where, yeah, you know, that's not really true. During some of my Hades attempts, I mean, Hades is the pinnacle of difficulty right now. And this is a viable soul break for Hades because it's a dispel fight where you need to reapply haste. And in situations where you need to reapply haste, Onion Knight works really good there because he has multiple Haskas. You can start out the fight with his, his most offensive, which would be, physical or magical USB. But then later on in the fight, you could reapply haste with this burst, and that'll also help out the team and buff them in another way. In a very important part of the fight, I think it's really nice having Onion Knight's burst, even though it's not something you're really going to start fights out with anymore, if you have access to his other stuff. But there's so many other better ways to initially buff the party in the game now. That if you have those options, you're going to use those options. But this is a nice secondary buff. Yeah, Kimari is terrible, but his USB is pretty powerful because it's not just a Radiant Shield; it's also a party buff. Unfortunately, I don't think there's anything. Oh no, Kimari can once he puts down the Radiant Shields, he can Magic Blink the party. So that's useful. That's useful. Or if you get his BSB, yeah, you could do some water damage. Alright, Cloud of Darkness BSB 1. I use this in my Siren Clear. This is... It's not an Elemental Radiant Shield, but it still just does a decent amount of damage. I mean, what do I use it for? I use it as an OSB. It's my OSB. Because I have her USB, and I use that to buff the party, and then from that point on, I use her as a focus to absorb all of Shulk's soul break points, and because this isn't an element entry, it actually has a high multiplier. It's not quite an OSB multiplier, but it like, if you're using a chain, it does do 80,000 damage for me. I mean, I guess I'm trying to... I'm only... Sounds like I'm playing this up because I actually use it. there's better stuff you could pick up, and I'm sure, yeah, this is probably something better. This is nice paired up with her USB, but I'd rather be using this than her USB. Her Burst Soul Break 2 is also a staff with small boost of dark damage. Increases magic mind of all allies, but dooms them with a countdown of 30. It's very interesting, but is made for the sub 30 meta. And she also gets some potentially usable burst commands. I don't use the burst commands on her BSB1 at all. This is a really good soul break. This is a powerful soul break. And this is something that I would consider taking if it would help me clear Siren. And it very well could. Because she's definitely... Like, Onion Knight struggles in a magical dark situation. So it opens up the opportunity to use other buffers. Onion Knight can do ninja damage, but I don't see that doing a whole lot unless you're, like, using Cypher's Chain or something. Yeah, no, this is good. This is good. I think both of these are decent, but I think the COD's Burst Soul Break 2 is probably the only one, like, worth considering for a pull here. Arya, oh, it's a Realm Medica. I'm gonna have to say no. Because Final Fantasy 3 doesn't even have a Torment yet in Japan. There's going to be so many other opportunities to get Final Fantasy 3 synergy. They tend to make Final Fantasy 3 banners some of the best in the game, so yeah, I wouldn't rush to get a Medica in 3. Cecil, no. Cecil, no. Cecil, no. Kane, no. You know, I suppose if you have his chain. Rydia is more Earth Magic, but if you want Earth Magic, just get Maria's. But but the same thing applies to this as it does Maria's, is that Earth Magic. Yeah, the thing about Meridia is she becomes a water mage. Yeah, I mean, her Burst Soul Break 2 or USB 2, it's all watery. I wouldn't pick up her Burst 1 at all. Her Burst 2, it's a Water Imperil on one of the best water mages in the game. The Imperil, this is not what makes her one of the best water mages. It's her USB 2. But I wonder if this might be worth having. Let me see that banner in the future. I need a link. Right, Rydia's OSB, I forgot about that. If you do have her OSB, it does make her a decent OSB battery. I mean, that could be useful now. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I don't know why I brain farted on that. Banner 2, right? Yeah, Rydia's USB 2 did not have Rydia's BSB 2. I don't know. Well, yeah, because she's a water mage, Seraph. There's no reason to use water mages right now. So it makes sense that you wouldn't use her. But there will be. I'm gonna have to say no. I don't think entrusting is as powerful in the future as it is now. And that's the only reason that I would want this. Because I want to cast it after her USB. As, like, something to put soul break points into. Like, your M Water Burst casting, and putting Imperil on the boss for other people to take advantage of. But not only is she a bad target for that, because her USB is a chase USB, and she's a good ability user with a chance to dual cast summons. And there's a 6-star water summon, too. Yeah, I don't know. I can't... It's too out there. Like, the use case of this this burst is just way too out there. Golbez burst. And man, I wanted this so bad. Over a year ago. No longer the time of Golbez. And I'm pretty sure this shows up on his chain banner in the future. Right? Oh, it doesn't. Oh, his burst 2 shows up on that banner. His burst 1 doesn't. I don't even know if I'd use it still. Like, they made Golbez a really interesting character and then just removed the need for that kind of character. It's unfortunate, but... Teleburst isn't bad. But this is more... earth damage. The modern era of earth damage is lacking, to say the least. And there's nothing that makes Tele stick out as being a particularly good earth user. So, it's not like you're taking this now for the future. Yeah, it's no good. Yep, that's what I said, Will. I said his Burst Soul Break 2 was on the banner. Make sure that your stream is live. Edge BSB is a way to give Edge and water. And he's a dual casting ninja, so that could be valuable to you. Rose's Burst is bad. And God, I'm pretty sure her Super Soul Break would be a better Medica than her Burst. But it does have a Medica command. No. I can't do it. Like, it's just not a good burst. Yeah. Chocobo suit is better. It's definitely better. If your Final Fantasy IV synergy you think is going to lean more towards magic, this is actually a decent buff. But again, I don't... Man, Final Fantasy IV has such bad Medicas. It's all the fault of Rose's USB. Because Rose's USB just crushes everything. Non-elemental team, what's your relic? Weaker, but save on Hones, Monk. Master BSB. Stronger, but requires a 6-star ability. Noctis BSB. Poron Burst 2? Oh, that's Palom. Oh, yeah, Palom's is no good. Poron Burst 2 is the Magic in Mind that I was talking about, and that, like I said, It's not a good healing soul break. It's a cure entry. It does have a Medica commands. This could be decent. Yang's Burst is high DPS earth damage. No, high for a burst, not high. Edward. The Murder Harp. Check out the attack on this thing. 134 attack on a harp. It was, back in the day when this first came out, it was definitely bugged. Because that attack was higher than, like, swords. It's not true anymore, but... this is a 50% attack and Imperil. So this is kind of like a chain, but not really. The Generation 2 chains are 50% stat buff and chain, where this is 50% stat buff and Imperil. This is an old version of a chain, and if people had alternate ways to Heiska, this is actually a really powerful burst. Yeah, this could be a powerful Torment draw, because that's a Realm buff in an Imperil, and Imperil is going to be a really important thing to have for Torments. Just a very powerful way to buff people's damage. I don't know, maybe this is a choice for some people. I'm going to hold out for better, but that's a soul break that could be worth using. Sid, no. Seador was really interesting back in the day. But with Astra being as strong as it is, though Astra and Affliction Break are your best defense against statuses, where reactive status defense isn't really viable. Okay, Rubicante is a no. It's fire armor, but it's no. Ursula is like a kind of a side grade to Yang. And at least we know Yang gets a USB in the future. Ursula, not so much. Because she's from a side game of Final Fantasy IV, she's probably not gonna be a very developed character. So if you want to take a physical Earth BSB, honestly, just don't take any of these. Take your Rudes. Is a game worth going into, or is it a money grab? Yes, it's both. All gacha games are money grabs, but that's your decision, you know? You can play this game without paying for it. Like, currently the entire game is accessible without paying anything at all. Really, really easily. There are no paywalls at the moment. But, you know, if you want the game to be a money grab, it sure can be. But that's your call. Lena's Burst Soul Breaks, her first one is a no. Her first one will be on the Bart's Fest banner. Would you feel behind at first? Yeah, absolutely. But they have catch-up mechanics in the game, which would allow you to accelerate up into powerful level quickly. Like, there's ways to make it so newer accounts can be even more powerful than older accounts. So, no, I would have to say, as far as, like, being left behind, no. Lena's Burst Soul Break 2 is a good Realm Medica, because Lena doesn't have a good healing Soul Break. I suppose she gets an instant Medica on the Bart's banner, and her Burst Soul Break 1 is also on the Bart's banner, so If you have any plans on pulling on the Bart's ASB banner, then obviously you wouldn't want to touch this. But this is a decent Medica or Bursal Break 2. Bart's Bursal Break 1 is 10 attack for Bart's. That might be worth it to some people. But with these available here, Bart's is unique, and Bart's not unique. Bart's BSB 2 and Bart's BSB 3. These would be better choices. These are actually soul breaks worth using because of the way Bart's works. Just being able to provide him with an element is powerful. So these are hot choices, I think. Lana USB 2 is an instant? Ugh, man. No, I didn't remember. Thanks for reminding me. That stinks. But that means she has no instant medicas, so... Galoof BSB is a no. Bart's BSB 2 and 3 are in play. BSB 1 could be if you're just desperate for Bart's stats. He's got enough, though. He's got a bit. Gilgamesh BSB is a no. Ferris BSB is... because the way debuffs work, I'd have to say no, but... God, if there's any full breakdown BSB in the entire game that might be worth having, it's this one. Because Ferris is also a dancer. And on fights like the current Final Fantasy 1 Chaos fight... You've got a really good debuffer because of dancing and this soul break. But there's just so much better on this selection, so no. Creel BSB is a way for a chain holder to get an element. So if you got her chain, this is a consideration. XF BSB no, Dargon BSB is Earth Armor, and it's a decent party buff and Imperil. This is actually one of the better pulls on this banner, with it being Earth Armor and being a decent soul break. Mimic Rod, no. It's on water for Go-Go. Woo! Terra BSB 1, best relic on the banner. No, this is probably one of the worst bursts in the entire game. It's a non-elemental entry, and since it's got elemental commands, but burst soul break commands are low damage and low soul break generation compared to 5-star abilities. This is just awful. This is one of the worst bursts in the game. Terra's Burst Soul Break 2, however, is a way for her to get an element, and she's an ASB user, so that's actually kind of nice. Plus, it is an earth or a fire bracer. It has a magic buff on its second command, so that's still usable. This is a good burst for a good character. Celeste Burst Soul Break is Unholy for Celeste. Allows her to use her ASB at high damage levels for Holy. Unfortunately, there is no Holy Soul or Spell Blades other than the burst commands for this and her Burst Soul Break 2, which is here. It's consideration because she's an ASB user. She hasn't ever ASB yet, but Go-Go Rod is plus water. That's true. Thank you for pointing that out because that's actually kind of relevant now. But yeah, it's actually kind of rare. Water weapons are rare now and into the future. Okay, back to this. Celeste and Celeste. Could be decent draws. Yeah, I think her Burst Soul Break 2 is out of the question. Because if you're pulling on this, you're probably doing it because you already have her USB. And if you have her USB, then you have a better form of Grand Cross than this. Or High Runic. Whereas her Burst Soul Break 1 at least gives her Unholy, which, you know, makes her use... they're both not good, okay? Because this isn't even that good with her USB, because you can't ability double burst commands. So what are you doing? This is good if you have her ASB, and her ASB isn't in the game for another 4 months. Science Burst is... It's not elemental damage and crit rate for party. Locke Burst will break 1 and 2. Because Locke is one of the better characters in the game, these could be decent because they add functionality to him. The first one is being an Imperil, the second being Enfire. The Enfire useful if you have his chain or his ASB. So there's 2 reasons. And Locke's Burst will break 1 is Imperil, so it makes it a nice multi-usable burst to imperil the boss if you have another form of Enfire already, like his LMR, like his USB 2. So these could be useful if you have a strong Locke and you want to increase his functionality. Edgar's Poison Burst is a no. Sabin's Burst is no, because his USB is what makes Sabin strong, that already has Enfire on it, so this isn't useful. Strago's BSB is Water Armor. That could be useful, but the BSB itself isn't that good anymore. Fun, for sure, because it has a resistance ignoring command, but they made sure that that isn't that effective now. It was really nice back in the day before the ability upgrade, but that was a long time ago. Setzer's Burst is strong debuffing. So like I was saying earlier with Ferris, if you need strong debuffing, Ferris or Setzer are probably the best on here. Or Vaughn. Vaughn's probably one of the best. But Vaughn doesn't do attack, so that's a different... Gao! Wow! Pick it up! Pick it up and don't look back. Shadow's BSB, because it's instantaneous and it gives him Endark as a ninja, this is just an upgraded version of Edge's Burst Soul Break. So this is really just a really good Soul Break. And really just might allow Shadow to be your primary DPS to wreck Siren. So this is it's a nice one to consider. Mog's Burst Soul Break is a good Magic and Mind Medica, or not Medica, Hastka. Unfortunate part of Mog is he doesn't really have much he can do other than use his first burst command, which is an instant heal, which is nice, for sure. He makes a good off healer, but the intersection between I need a Magic and Mind Hastka on this team and an off healer is a very small one. So while this is a really good Soul Break, there's a small scenario, a tiny scenario in which, you know, someone would want to pick this up and, you know, make use of it. Kefka's Burst 1 is a bad burst. Kefka's Burst 2 is not. But you'd want his LMR. If you don't have his LMR, this isn't really a good choice. This is a Squall-like Burst Soul Break where you stack up with first command and then use the second command as many times as you can. And him being able to dual cast allows you to stack the first one up faster, which allows you to have the opportunity to dual cast very big hits with the second command. But unlike Squall, he doesn't have his dual cast and his Legend Dive. It's an LMR. So if you don't have his LMR, it's not really a good choice. Realm BSB is a good Medica in Final Fantasy VI. It has Last Stand on it, so it's automatically viable. Leo's Bursts, Holy Armor. It's Party Buff. Party Buff, not that useful, especially for physical. So I think Leo's good, but it's his USB that makes him good, not BSB. Umaro is super fun. Go-Go's could be also super fun, because this is a mime, isn't it? Yeah. But they're just there for fun. If you want to get wacky, go wacky. Final Fantasy VII. First Fusion Sword, one of the worst bursts in the game. It's purely non-elemental, and it doesn't even do a lot of damage. Unlike someone like Zell, Noctis, or Master. It could be plus 10 attack on him, though. Cloud BSB2... if you've got all the things for Cloud and you don't have any plans on pulling on the Cloud banner in this festival, sure, this is a way to give him N wins. He is getting an ASB, but the ASB is released in this festival. I just feel like you'd probably be going for his stuff there, and his BSB2 and USB2 are both on that banner, which both provide N-Wind. Yeah, I think this is not that valuable of a take anymore, but it could be if you feel like you have everything you need for Cloud now, and don't plan on pulling on anything for Cloud in the future. Aerith Burst 1, it's a Medica. Aerith Burst 2, it's a Medica with bad commands. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Medica. What can I say? They're not really that great soul breaks, but you might need it. But again, on that Cloud banner, Aerith's USB 2 is going to be there. So that's another chance at a Medica. Tifa or Burst Soul Break 1 is a way to give her an Earth. Is that useful? Does have an ASB coming up, but festival starts on the 24th. But yeah, I wouldn't select this under the pretense that you're going to get her ASB. Her Burst Soul Break 2, on the other hand, is actually really good. Because she has an N-element LMR. This could be a good thing for you right now. Because if all you need is that LMR, you can take this. And she becomes a great focus for Soul Break points, and she can just fire off Imperils and do a lot of damage, and enable someone like Bartz, just with his USB, to do a ton of damage. That would make a really awesome 1-2 punch against Ixion, I think, is Tifa, LMR, Burst Soul Break 2, and Bart's USB. Here we go with one of the, in my opinion, one of the best draws or selections on the entire deal here. Sephiroth's Burst Soul Break 2 is actually a good Soul Break. Because it has a 5-hit Dark command. Deal 2 physical attacks. No, shoot. So this is Burst Soul Break 2. Burst Soul Break 1 is actually kind of interesting, but in the same vein as Strago's, they made sure that it's not really that great, because it has a 2-hit defense ignoring command. It only hits twice, though. So it'll cap out on 20,000 damage. Whatever. Burst Soul Break 2 is one of the best. Burst Soul Break 2 is a dark damage katana, so as a relic, it's already amazing, because that's a very unique type of weapon. It gives ninjas plus dark damage potential where they didn't have it before. Because I believe the only other real one would be Vayne's Burst Soul Break, Vayne's OSB. You could also make a case for Rain's things too, but they don't augment to attack. This and Vayne augment to attack. And not all the ninjas can use fist weapons, but they can all use katanas. Ninjas. But beyond that, beyond the status of it being an awesome relic, it is also a very, very good soul break. Which has a first command of, if he has a high enough attack, and he's probably going to have a high enough attack, it's a 5-hit command. And that's a useful thing, because there are no 5-hit or more darkness things, other than Garland Burst Soul Break 2. But, you know, the difference is, this is on Sephiroth, and that 5 thing isn't even that useful anymore once the Final Fantasy VII banner comes around. Because Sephiroth turns into a dark monster. Oh, is Vane's OSB a sword? Sorry then. I meant just as BSB. So number of hits doesn't matter anymore for Sephiroth because he breaks the damage cap with dark damage. But what this is really good right now. And what's nice about the Burst Soul Break is it grants 2 charges of physical blink to the... Or, no, shield. I don't know, I'll call it shield. Dual blink, that's it. For free. It's just a good burst. I think the primary reason you would be taking this would be for the dark damage katana. But it's still a good burst as well. And that's what makes it one of the better draws in the entire selection is because, yeah, both are good. Red 13, it's a weak buff on a character that turns into a mage. Zack's burst might be good. Might be good. If you got his chain, if you got his... I mean, it's a nice thing to spam this. Like, if you want to throw soul break points into Zack. But ever since Zack got his access to his celerity ability, he doesn't really need this anymore. This is just if you want a soul break to spam for the Imperil. So if you want to run an Entruster on your team. Barret, no. Sid is actually a... No. But it's an interesting burst soul break. It has a higher multiplier than normal. That's it. Reno's burst. No. Yuffie has an ASB, so the ability to give her end water is good. Her second burst soul break is actually really good because it's an instant cast Imperil. So this is just a fantastic good soul break. Vincent BSB, ugh, it's regular Radiant Shield. It's not as good as it used to be. Because Radiant Shield was kind of universally good for a long time, and they just made everything else in the game do more damage, so it doesn't do as much anymore. It's still useful, and if I've got everything for Vincent, maybe it's a good soul break to use. It's kind of like Cloud of Darkness's Burst Soul Break 1. I do use it. Yeah, if you've got Vincent's Super Soul Break that gives him End Fire, this makes a good soul break to pair up with it. Alone? Probably not, because he's not going to do a whole lot of damage. The Radiant Shield isn't going to make up for it. But he does have a lot of different things that he could have that would make this good, which would be his super, his USB, his chain in the future, his Burst Soul Break 2 in the future. Oh man. Kate Sith, crit rate, attack and defense buff, no haste. Might be good for Torment. But the commands are debuffs, so not that great. Yeah, not that great. Rufus Burst. It's an Imperil. Does Rufus have a way to get End Dark? Does this super provide End Dark? This could be interesting. I just think, like, why pick this up for a Dark team right now when you could get, like, Shadows Burst? If you already have Shadows Burst and you want an Imperil to go along with it, I don't know. Not that good. Not that good. Shulk Burst is instant cast. One of the best debuffing soul breaks on the banner. Unlike Ferris and Ferris and Setzer. These are lightning spears, which is also another useful thing. Shulk is a commonly legend-dived character, which makes her even better for the debuffing role. Honestly, I would probably take this if I wanted debuffing. I would take this over Setzer or Ferris, just because Shulk is such a good character. It's a lightning spear, and it's an instant cast Soul Break. This just has a lot of better things going for it. So if I wanted to pick up debuffing off this banner, this would probably be it. This or Vaughn's Burst, which we'll get to. Rude's Burst is probably the best, or one of the best relics to pick up on the entire banner, because it is actually unique. While there are other things that you could pick up other than Sephiroth for Sephiroth's BSB, Rude's is actually just plain unique. It is a magical Earth Fist, and is the only relic in the entire game that can be used by Red 13 to give him a small boost to, or a 20% increase in Earth damage. That also has magic on it. And Red 13 is the holder of the Generation 2 chain, and his banner is probably going to be a very commonly pulled on banner, because magical Earth damage is very, very rare. Because it's only, in strength, has only ever occurred on one banner, and that was not a great banner on the Final Fantasy II event. This is one of my top choices. I'm probably going to be taking either this or Sephiroth's Burst Break 2. Alina's Burst is not her super. This is something if you're looking for an RW to set. It's instant cast, and it is it's an instant in peril, so it's actually a really good burst. Like Yuffie's. So it's a good burst, and it is also a moneymaker. You set this as your RW, and you watch the gil roll in, because it's instant and has a ninja cast speed, area of effect command, so it's good for clearing dailies. But the fact that it's an instant in peril makes it good. Unfortunately, I don't think she has a way to end fire. Final Fantasy VIII, one of the worst bursts in the game. Renoa's Burst Soul Break 1. Whew, boy, is this a piece of crap. Burst Soul Break 2 gives her an ice. She's a chain holder, so maybe that an ice is useful for you. There are other ways for her Renoa to get an ice. Honestly, I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole, because I'm going to be pulling on tons of Renoa banners in the future. Renoa turns into, in my opinion, one of the best characters in the game. But it's not because of this. Renoa's super is Empire? Okay. Alright. Fair enough. And Renoa's super is good. Alina's super is good because it's a plus fire thrown weapon. Squall Burst Soul Break 1, exactly like Renoa's Burst Soul Break 1, it's garbage. Squall's Burst Soul Break 2, well, it's on the other side of the spectrum. It's probably the best burst in the game. So if you don't have it, this is probably one of your top choices here. Squall has a 35% chance to dual cast on his dive, making his Squall-type Burst Soul Break, which is a builder and not a spender. So you build and then you use the command 2 as many times as you can during the duration of the burst, and you do a hell of a lot of damage, and hopefully you do a hell of a lot of damage twice as many times as you can. It's ultra powerful. It's basically a USB in strength. Irvin's Burst is just debuffing. There's better debuffing. Quistis Burst is poison. If you've got her OSB, it's a way to give her end poison. Selfie's Burst 1. They put her Burst 1 but not Burst 2 here. Strange Vision is really bad. It's she's a healer, but it doesn't have a medica. It's a party buff. Not only is it a party buff, but it's a magic and mind to all allies for a moderate amount. You know some other healer bursts that do that exact same thing? Poroms, Yunas, Aphmaus. And those actually have a Cure Medica attached to them. This is just awful. Zell's is actually one of the best non-elemental choices on the banner. It is instant cast, which means it's high damage and increases everyone's crit rate, which is also really nice, and has a command that provides power chain, which can be nice as well as an attack buff. Honestly, one of the best non-elemental choices on the banner. Plus, it's a Fire Fist weapon. Also good. Debuffing is not really a thing for Torments, Alan. The bosses are highly resistant to them. At the highest level, they're 70% resistant at the highest level. But I suppose if you're thinking about it for lower level, no, Irvin's might be decent then. Or Fusion Burstle Break is good too, yeah. Cypher's Burstle Break 1 is just awful. Yeah, it just gives him Sentinel, and it's like Go-Go or Umaro tier. Fun, but not effective. Laguna's Burst is actually pretty good, though. It's an Imperil, and has a command that allows him to instantly use Machinist abilities. So he becomes a decent damage option because of Tempest Snipe. He's a really good character, so if you have him dived, because he's more of an ice character than a lightning character. So if you have him dive, then he can dual cast his stuff as well. So this is pretty good. But you know, this is just, it's not like USB tier, so I would want to trick out my lightning team with USBs rather than that, but it's decent if you already have a strong Ice Laguna. Because if you have him dived, then that turns this into a really good relic. It makes him a really good lightning option, I think. Adia's not what it used to be. Not what it used to be. I use Papalymo's Burstle Break on my Fire Mage team, but he only does 30,000 damage. If that, 32,000. With a lot of magic buffs, with double fire, you know, equipment. I would need a chain. If I had a chain, that would be different. So, I guess what I'm getting at here is, Adia's Burst is nice because of a 6-hit command. Which could be good. You know, honestly, it could be good. Because she self-buffs really well with Memento Mori. And if you have a chain, like Renoa's, then this becomes a good soul break. Yeah, that's why I had to check myself, Reki. Because I was thinking 70% resistance, but I know that's a difficulty that people aren't going to be doing anyway. Fusion's Burst is good. It's instantaneous, and it's a debuff, so... it's plus wind thrown weapon. This is a good choice. This is a good choice. It's got a lot of good things going for it, and Fusion's one of the best wind mages in the game. I don't know if there's a time that you would use this for wind damage. You're really just using this for the debuff. Raijin's Burst is more Umaro stuff. Really fun because of its charge up mechanic. But it takes too much to charge up. This is just a worse version of the Squall type. For Tiamat? Yeah, totally. BSB 2 plus USB? Yeah. Just as USB is enough DPS for the Tiamat fight. Kyros is a party buff. Ward is no. Garnet's BSB 1 is a mage lightning dagger. Still good to this day. Garnet's Burst 2 is a party buff plus lightning staff for mages, and a good soul break as well because it raises its attack and magic buff and Imperial Lightning. This has a lot of good stuff going for it. I hope I'm able to select this. I think this is one of the better pulls on the banner. It has shown up on a lot of banners, so it's very common, and I think a lot of people probably have one or a million already. I think this is something I'd leave to select off of the Acolyte Archives, though, because this selection expires before the start of the festival, while this relic will probably be on the 5th banner of the festival. So if you're able to pick them up there, you wouldn't want to select it here and then pick them up there, right? So save this to be selected on something that extends past the festival, like Acolyte Archives. Could be. I'll get there when I get there. I'm at Final Fantasy IX right now. Vivi's Burst Soul Break 1 is to give End Fire to Vivi. Can't imagine why you would want this. It's a plus fire weapon, I suppose. That's the best reason to use it. Maybe if you have Vivi's Burst 2 and you want to combine them, but that's a lot of Soul Break points for basically a USB for 1,000 Soul Break points. His Burst 2 by itself could actually be decent, because it's a party buff. So if you're running Vivi on a mage team, it's a party buff and it's multi-elemental. Fire, lightning, and ice. So yeah, I mean, if you have Vivi's USB and you want, you know, to buff the party with somebody and you don't have room for a party buff, but you could bring an Entruster, you could actually make a case for using both his BSB and USB together. That'd be decent. Yeah, Papalimo would be better than VV1, definitely. Steiner's Burst 1 isn't bad. There's a reason why it's okay, and that's because of his interesting OSB. His OSB is triple elemental, and it has a high multiplier. So if you have his OSB, never mind. I'm tired. I'm sorry I went into this tirade. His BSB 1 is just plus fire, end fire, so it's just because his OSB is tri-elemental doesn't mean anything. Sorry. It's not that good, because Steiner's not a good character. If only Steiner had a better way other than his USB to get an element of the other elements. He doesn't. Steiner's Burst 2 is awful. Eiko's Burst is pretty good, and it's a Realm Medica in Final Fantasy IX. Useful. Kiraga Medica too, so nice. 50% crit buff, still unique to healers. So that's a decent pickup for 9. Queen of Burst is not really a good burst. It is debuffs. Maybe that'll be useful in Torment, and it's a water armor, but it's a water robe, and most of the best water users in the game can't use robes, but it will be one of your water armors for your mage team in the future. Zidane Burst 1? No. Right? It's in peril. I don't care about commands anymore. The reason why this used to be bad was because the commands were bad, but I don't know. Maybe him having an Imperil isn't bad. Well, it is, because the reason why you use Zidane right now would be for his USB. And his USB imperils. So why would you want this? if you got his USB 2, and that's a bit of a reach, I think. Selecting this for the hopes that you're going to get his USB 2 in the future. His USB 2, or his BSB 2 is not good. It has a neat little gimmick on it, but it's not a good gimmick. So it's just a way to give him wind. Amarat BSB. Whew. Beatrix BSB. It's an Imperil. It could be useful against Hades. Let's put it this way. I have Beatrix's USB. I would not take this. Because Beatrix's USB is something that does not... You do not want to do anything but use abilities with Beatrix's USB, because it does so much damage. But by itself, it could be decent for imperiling for a character, or two characters, like Beatrix or Orlando. I have Agrius's USB and BSB, and I could use Agrius's BSB to increase Beatrix's damage on my Hades team, but I don't, because it does such crap damage by itself that it's not worth using. And Agrius's BSB and Beatrix's BSB are basically the same thing. Freya Burst, no. Kuja Burst is decent. It's a Dark Imperil on Kuja, and Kuja's really good. Marcus is debuffing, but I think if I'm taking Final Fantasy IX debuffing, I'm taking Queena's Burst Soul Break because I want that water armor. This is just not useful as a relic. Titus BSB 1, no. Maybe if I have his chain, but honestly, there's so many forms of Titus awesomeness, I just, no. Titus BSB 2 is one of the best soul breaks, burst soul breaks on the selection. If anybody watched my stream yesterday, using Titus's chain, this and his LMR, he solo DPS'd Malorus down. That's how powerful this is, because it's instant itself and grants a charge of instant cast. So if you're using him as a solo DPS, he takes instant actions for the entire fight. So you just entrust him and have him fire this off one after another, after another, after another, after another. And it's 10 hits, so it's basically an instant OSB. Just every time you click that button, 100,000 damage. Could be really good for Titus. Walker Burst, no. Kamari Bursts, probably not. I don't think it's worth, even if you have Kamari's USB, taking this. I don't think it's worth using his USB, then charging up to his BSB, casting his BSB, and then using burst commands. I don't know if it's worth it. Yeah, Tuna still exists. It is something to... Yeah, I mean, that's what I was talking about. I think what I'd rather do is take his burst, or his Super Soul Break. He has a really good Super Soul Break. I don't know, maybe I think I'm underselling this. Maybe I'm underselling this. Okay, Kamari has two options after his USB. He can either Burst Soul Break, which imperils the boss and gives Kamari an ability to add to what should be the chain with water damage. Or he has a Super Soul Break as well. I think his Super Soul Break is a really good option, because his Super Soul Break is single target non-elemental damage that magic blinks the party. So I think that's something that he should be doing. You can Wrath that out, you can Life Siphon that out, and just counting on his USB to be his damage source while protecting the party with his magic blink, but either one of these is a decent option. His BSB being the damage option, his Super Soul Break being the protection option. Yuna's Burst Soul Break 1 is one of the older memes of Final Fantasy. I know he can Wrath. Didn't I say that? Will, I feel like you are more than anybody else are not live almost all the time. Burst Soul Break 1. Best meme? I suppose, yeah, it's probably the best meme of Record Keeper. Can we think of a better meme? So Tiny B is bad. Really bad. The good part of Yuna's Burst Soul Break 1 is also bad. She does 10 non-elemental attacks to one target. It's NAT damage, which is kind of useful if you're scared of getting countered, but it does such little damage that there's no reason to use it anyway. And the fact that it's NAT means that no, like, summoning boosts, or there's no boosts from RMs or anything in the game that we can give this relic. So it doesn't do any damage. It doesn't do any damage and doesn't have any counters. So it's just awful. And this Medica command is the prototype Medica command, and it's just yeah, it's embarrassing. Honestly, if you get it, you should use it someday, just so you can have a good laugh at the strength of the Medica. What's up, Sergeta? Yeah, this is just awful. This is probably the worst Burst Soul Break in the entire game. Yuna's Burst Soul Break 2, on the other hand, is actually really good. It's Holy Boost armor, and like Porom's Burst, it's a Magic and Mind buff with the Medica. It's, honestly, I kind of want to come away with this from some selection, because I don't have a Final Fantasy X Medica at all. None. I have a shared Medica. And it's a good Holy Armor, I suppose. I don't really need Holy Armor that much anymore. Auron Burst 1, I have it. It's not good. It's not good. It's a Tauntaliate Burst. By Tauntaliate, I mean it has a Retaliate command, and he can taunt. So it allows him to Life Siphon into it and draw fire. It's terrible. It's Burst Soul Break 2. End Fire. And a Bargain command. Will be good when he gets an ASB. He gets an ASB many, many months from now. Like 5 months from now. Lulu BSB. Really good. This is Ice Armor. The Burst Soul Break itself is it's awful. It's really awful. Possibly one of the worst bursts in the game. But the relic itself is really rare ice armor. It's light armor too, so physical characters can use this as well. It may not have attack on it, but who cares? Okay, you lose 17 attack for plus 20% ice damage. Take that any day. Any day. This is actually a really good pickup here. Riku Burst is honestly, since burst commands became useless for the most part, this just turns into an Imperil Burst. So it's a 10 random target Imperil thing. It actually might be good. Because Riku is a chain holder. Unfortunately, you will not know if you have Riku's chain until after the selection is done. But Riku's Burst Soul Break 2 is also on that banner, probably. And that's N Water, which would make this do a fairly decent amount of damage. Honestly, might be worth it, but I suppose let's put it this way. You're probably never going to use this. Tidus can take care of Malorus by himself, and you can get the Burst Soul Break 2 off of this selection. That is one of the key pieces in allowing him to do that. And the likelihood that you're going to be seeing use of this against 5-star Magicite is pretty damn small, I think. She'll probably chain at the start of the fight, and then maybe you'll use this once. But she has other options that she could be doing. Eject Bursts. Nope. Braska Burst. Nope. Fire Damage Staff, but that's not a good enough reason. Pain is Water Armor. Not as rare as it used to be. Not as rare as, like, Ice Armor. Yeah, you need a form of M-Water for her Hue. And that's another thing. That's all I was addressing, is you probably wouldn't want to use this unless you had M-Water. Oh, Pain. Horrible Soul Break, but good armor, like Lulu's. But Lulu's is just better armor, because it's for a rarer element. Seymour Bursts. Dark? No, it's not even dark. Yeah, this is just bad. It's Imperil for Dark, but there's other Imperil Dark bursts on here that are better. I suppose because he's a chain holder, it's worth something. And his burst 2 is bad. You can't kill yourself with the command, but he doesn't have reliable healing. Like other characters like Garland and his USB, where it chases after you use a damaging or self-damaging attack, and that chase heals him. Seymour doesn't have reliable healing. He has a dive with which a 40% chance to heal him after using a dark attack. It's just Seymour's a suicidal monster. He's a weird guy. Shantoto Burst. She's a chain user, so maybe getting the Enlightening is worth something to you. Karilla Burst is a party buff, but like Leo's, not that good. Ayame's Burst is one of the better bursts in the entire game because it's over budget. It just gives you a free attack and resistance buff on cast for some reason. And has a buffing command, which allows her to really do a lot of damage with hailstorms. Like, yeah, I don't know, this is actually really good. Could use Dire Heal, but that removes the entire reason to be using Seymour's bursts in the first place. The reason to use that burst is for the 6-hit command. Prish Burst is one of the better non-elemental choices in the game, but by one of the better, I mean there's much better on this selection. Ayame is N-Ice. It's N-Ice and an attack and resistance buff to herself. So that's a self buff. The burst mode itself is a self buff. There's a self buff on her second command, and there's a self buff on Hailstorm. She becomes... she has a very large attack. Lion's Burst is instantaneous. It's an instant attack version of Vaughn's Burst. This is actually pretty good. But again, I think we got Vaughn's Burst, which is magically oriented at debuffing, and Lion's is just attack. I still think I'm taking Shulk, because Shulk is a Penta Break, so she's good for every fight. And it is lightning and null elemental, so she's very good against lightning vulnerable, but she's fine against all fights. I still think Shulk is probably the best debuffing Soul Break. Aphmau is one of the better healer soul breaks. I still use it. I use it on my Eyes Combine Fire magic team. Zeed is no. Fron Perseus, wow, this used to be so good back in the day. It's not anymore. It's just a slow cast Pentabreak. Why not take Shulk instead? Balthier's Burst 1 is next to Yuna's Tiny Bee. At least it's elemental, so man, this probably isn't even as bad as something like Squall or Renoa or Terra's Burst Soul Break ones. But it's awful. His Burst Soul Break 2 is actually pretty decent though. It's an Imperil on a Flame Machinist. Pretty decent. We've been talking about Vaughn's Burst, and here it is. One of the legends of Final Fantasy Record Keeper. It's instantaneous damage. It's a magic and defense debuff. Just really, really awesome. No, if you have Celeste USB, you probably don't have any interest in her BSB2 at all. It's a way to give you Holy Spellblade commands, which don't work with her USB. If there's a BSB I'm choosing with Celeste USB, it's her BSB1, and still that's not even good. Alright, so this is a really good burst. Ash's Burst is also good. It has a high damage entry. Higher than what... it's over budget in its damage for the entry. And has a self-heal command. This is actually one of the ways you can solo a super boss in the future. If you like doing that for the lulz. Penella Burst is not good at all. Penella Burst 2 is much, much better. It's a last stand burst, so like Realms, it's really good. It does have a Medica command, which makes it a good healer burst, but it doesn't have an instant command one. That's why I think Realms is better, but they're both good, because last stand bursts are really good. Bosch Burst is not good. Gabranth Burst is... At least Bosch Burst is a Holy Spear. I do not envy you if you're still looking for holy weapons. Or if you don't see holy weapons on future banners that you're going to be pulling on. Gabranth is an Imperil at least. Why is his first command combat? It's an Imperil, probably not worth taking. Larsa Burst is one of the two Astra Bursts in the game, and it's really good. Man. Yeah, my throat's not gonna recover from this anytime soon. Strago OSB, congratulations. It's Sail OSB, oh my... I'm not even gonna think about that anymore. You came into this chat to brag about that pull. And congratulations, but holy shit, man. I guess I'd want to scream to the heavens that I got that too. So Larsa's Burst is really good. I generally aim towards using Unicorn as my Astra, but that's not always an option. Like Siren, for instance. Siren uses her Silence before the 10-second mark, so you're not able to use a Magicite before that. So having a Soul Break version of Astra is basically required if you're going to be using mages against Siren. Vane's Burst, as I talked about, is a pretty good pickup because it's a attack and magic Dark Fist weapon, though I would probably prefer the Katana instead of Sephiroth Burst 2. And Rex Burst is a good party buff for Final Fantasy 12. But it's only attack and defense. It's no magic. Though Ash doesn't mind that much. She's an okay self-buffer. Snow's Burst Soul Break is, like Lulu's, one of the best elemental relics to pick up here. It grants Last Stand of the Party? I don't know. I don't think I can make much of a case for the burst itself. But it's ice armor. You know, honestly, it grants Last Stand of the Party, so it's better than Lulu's burst at least. Snow's Burst will break 2. Party buff and Heiska. Kind of useful. Vanille's Burst 2 is still the only instant healer burst. And probably the best healing soul break in Final Fantasy 13. If you were unable to pick it up off, or you don't think you'll be able to pick it up off Acolyte Archives, this might be a good pull. Because unlike her USB 2, this is instantaneous Kiraga Medica with a Medica command as well. Lightning's Burst Soul Break 1 is awful. Lightning's Burst Soul Break 2 is not. It's a way for a high Quick Cycler to imperil very quickly. Lightning makes a really good character to funnel a lot of soul break points into because of her high Quick Cycle-ness, and this helps a lot. Unfortunately, it's random target, so it's not that great against Kraken, but I'm willing to bet that Lightning with her Burst Soul Break 2 is still viable versus 5-star Magicite. Narrowed down my choice. I'm waiting. I'm waiting until after... I am trying to narrow down, but this is more for everybody else. But I'm going to be waiting to make my selection until the end of the Realm on Parade. So I will make this on the day I make all 15 of my Realm pulls. I will be selecting this afterwards, because we have one day past that to make this selection. Sazburst is actually good for a Realm buff. Also has an adorable animation. But see, the nice thing about this is it makes him a viable dual buffer. Not many people can pull off buffing and then buffing again and then being, you know, a worthy entruster. Saz can. He can also be a powerful single buffer, is if you have another source of haste like Alma or Tyro. Because what this does is it grants 2 instant actions after you use it, so it's really meant to be to make him into a powerful entruster as well as a buffer. This is, I think, is one of the better buffing soul breaks in the game. Hope BSB 1, no. Hope BSB 2 is a Holy Bracer. There aren't many of those. The soul break itself is not good. Fang, no. It's just a Wind Imperil. Sarah Burst 1, no. Sarah Burst 2 is an Ice Imperil on a high Quick Cycler. So like her sister, she could be a good option to funnel a lot of soul break points into. But you need her USB, just like Lightning. Sid Rain's BSB... what can I say that hasn't been said? It's one of the best burst soul breaks in the game. It is the first USB. This soul break is so over budget that it's just a USB. And it'll still be a strong roll. So still play a strong role on 4-star Magicite for both Holy and Dark. I use it on my Dark team still. If I had better holy options, I would also use all my holy, but I have hope. Hope doesn't cut the mustard. So Sid Reigns can't carry that on his shoulders. Noel's Burst, no. Nabat Burst is just another Imperil. Used to be good back in the day because she can Wrath, but I think I'd probably go after Kuja at this point if I wanted a Magical Dark Imperil. Reigns BSB came up before Orlando's OSB, Max. I Thancred's both of his Soul Breaks stink. Soul's Burst is the best healing Soul Break in Final Fantasy XIV. We're not going to be seeing a Final Fantasy XIV tournament for 5 months. So... I don't know if I can make a case for pulling for this, or selecting it. Fire Fist Weapon, but not a great Soul Break for Ida's Super, or Ida's Burst. Would probably take Zell's over this. Because at least Zell's has some non-elemental novelty. Well, this doesn't have novelty at all. This is it's a full breakdown burst. Ugh. Yeah, take Zell's. Papalimos is actually good. Because unlike the other two, Edea and Maria, Papalimo has a good dive and becomes an amazing fire mage in the future. With an ASB, a Brave USB. Yeah, he just goes off the charts. So the value of legend diving him right now is actually useful. I actually look at this in the same vein as Laguna, in that because they have that 35% chance to dual cast, it makes them a decent character, and they're characters that are worth legend diving. Yeah, rip Maria dive. It is probably the best fire weapon. Yeah, it's best fire rod, and I guess that's important because there are some mages that can't use staves. Menvilia's Burst Soul Break is a no. Alphino's Burst Soul Break is... I don't want my bias, because I've seen so many of these on so many festival banners over the last year and a half. It's a good burst. It's a good burst. It might be good with this chain in the future. Yeah, Zell's USB is really good, Ben. I don't know. You know why I would say no to this is because Wind Magic isn't really a thing right now. It's very difficult to put together a Wind Magic team that can defeat Midgard Zormer unless you have Fusion's USB or something. So you'd be taking this hoping that you get Alphino's Chain 5 months from now. I think that's not a good reason. Oh god. Sid 14, Burst Soul Break is awful. Horsebro. No. No. Estinian. Nope. Sail. It's a nice animation, doesn't it? But it's not that great of a burst. Like I said, Noctis Burst is a good non-elemental option. But you will probably have to have a 6-star ability to use it in Omega Drive. And I can't condone spending power crystals right now. Gladiolus is a no. Iris is one of the better healer soul breaks. Like Lars's, and it is the only healer soul break in 15. Now her USB counts too, but I think her BSB is better than her USB. Prompto is an instant. So this is just an upgraded version of Lion's Burst, huh? Instantly deal ranged physical lightning and non-elemental. So it's just can also deal lightning damage versus Lions. But since it's attack and defense, I still say Shulk is better. Unless you had like Prompto's LMR or something. Aranea. Lightning Armor. Wow, that's some nice stats. I guess I moved helmets into light armor territory, huh? So Lightning Armor. Last pull. God, I was at 15, I thought I was done. Rems BSB 1, no. Rems BSB 2 is an option. Really good physically buffing Soul Break right now. I'm considering taking it at some point on the Acolyte Archives or here. Probably not. There's probably better choices, but I would really like this. Iris BSB, I can't. Ever since I saw the Hades fight, I think Imperils are useful, but I guess there is a use case for this, and you need powerful Holy that can take advantage of the Imperils. Deleted BSB, no. Avelli BSB, no. There's a lot of healing soul breaks and tactics, that's why I say no here. And this is one of the better ones. Mustadio, no. Orlandu is +10 attack for him, which is probably no. Gafgarian Burst is a dark sword, but an awful burst. Rafa Burst is really good. Because it's a party buff with actually good commands. And she can dual cast with her Legend Dive. And her commands can take advantage of that dual casting. Malik, no. Miliadul is nice because it does earth damage, and Ixion is vulnerable to this burst. If you watched my sub 30 commentaries yesterday, you see that I use Miliadul on my with her burst on my Ixion sub 30 team. It's actually one of the better debuffing soul breaks in this festival, because it's not just good for debuffing, but it's good for offensive purposes on a 4-star Magicite as well. Marsh is a party buff, but like Leo and Kirilla, no good. Physical party buffs, just eh. And Montblanc is an upgraded version of Vivi's Burst, but I'd rather have Vivi's Burst because of Vivi. Ace Burst is really good if you have his LMR. It's actually really powerful if you have his LMR. And potentially an Izubind killer. And maybe more. Because his ability to deal instant damage with this, as well as instantly physically blink the party, is just really good. If you have his LMR, or I suppose his USB qualifies as well, because it's a quick cycle. Can anyone verify if Ace's USB is a fire quick cycle or a black magic quick cycle? If it's fire, then using his BSB would not remove your quick cycle. Deuce BSB is really good, one of the better healer soul breaks in the game. better than like Yuna or Aphmau because it's attack and magic. Rems is funny. It's kind of like Ashes, in that it defeats Izamat. 9, no. Machina, no. Queen. No. Minor fire resistance. No, Inoxus, it's a quick cycle. It's more of a quick cycle than it is a chase. Please! I need to have an ace command. Just because it has a chase that hits like 1% of the time, doesn't mean that has anything to do with the Soul Break. It's there, it's flavor. It's flavor, and holy shit, if you hit it, that's cool. Yeah, no, King BSB for some reason. Right. Has both, but the chase is irrelevant. It is a quick cycle USB. And it's fire? If you want plus element thrown weapons, here you go. Fire and ice. Oh, it says ability. Oh, does it say fire? It just says abilities? Alright, I'm gonna unlayer it. It's cast speed times 2. So that's actually good. If you have his USB or his LMR, his Burst Soul Break becomes really good. No. Alright. Now that I've gone over all of them, I'm going to pick out the best. The universal best. Why I went over all of them and it took so long for me to go over all of them was because a lot of them are good in very specific situations. Like you have Warrior of Light's ASB. His BSB becomes good. I'm not going to consider that being universally good. I'm going to look for universally good things. Master is one of the best non-elemental soul breaks. Furion is instant magic blink. Probably not universally good. Guy's Earth Axe. Ignis Burst Soul Break 2 is the only Elemental Radiant Shield we see on here, and it's really powerful, especially because he himself is a chain holder. Cloud Darkness BSB 2. No, I would say only Garland's BSB 2 is good only if you have his LMR, and even then, maybe not. You would need his dual cast LMR, which isn't even in the game yet. Oh, Final Fantasy IV sucks. Bart's Burst Soul Break 2 and 3. You know why you need that. Dorgon Burst is Earth Armor and a Imperil Earth and a party buff. Dorgon and his secret daughter Garnet have very similar bursts. Go-Go is a Water Rod, so that's useful to everybody. Shadow Burst Soul Break. Instant cast, turns Shadow into a dark, crazy person. I don't think I went over that entire list, did I? Yep, Strago is Water Armor. But I went over that already. Hey, Skillful. Sephiroth Burst Soul Break 2. Good Relic, good Soul Break. Yuffie Burst Soul Break 2. Instant Imperil. Shulk Burst, instant debuffing. And lightning damage and a lightning spear. Rude Burst is not a good soul break, but such an amazing relic that it kind of makes up for that. With it being a attack and magic Earth Fist weapon. I think Will just might naturally have a lot of delay. Because, yeah, it's pretty bad. I was in Final Fantasy VII when his comment about Go-Go came up. Squall Burst Soul Break 2. Just USB better level damage. Zell is one of the best non-elemental options on here because it's instantaneous, and it's a Fire Fist weapon too. Both of Garnet's relics, because of the rarity of magical lightning relics. Plus the second one is a pretty decent soul break as well. Titus Burst Soul Break 2 is just obscenely powerful. Lulu Burst. Ice Armor is really rare. I think Ayame has a strong burst, but with Squall's Burst Soul Break 2 available here, I don't think this actually makes a good choice. Larsa and Vayne. This for the Relic, this for the Soul Break. Snow's Burst. Rare Ice Armor. Vanille's? No, not Vanille's. That's... I'm not gonna make note of stuff if it's just for Realm Synergy. And while this is great Realm Synergy, it's not that great outside. Sid Reigns. Big surprise. I think Papaluma's BSB is strong, but it's not that strong. Hey, Taravaka. Iris is a good general purpose healer soul break. Ramza burst soul break 2, one of the best attack buffs in the game at the moment. Rafa burst. I'm gonna have to say no to Deuce's burst. It's still really good, but I'm not sure the buffing makes it... We're staring in the face of Alara and Aerith now. These two. Yeah, both of these. These are pretty rare relics. Fire Throne Weapon and Ice Throne. No. Okay, that's it. That's me narrowing down the list. Want me to narrow it down further? I think the best 3 relics in the entire festival are Rude's Burst Soul Break, Sephiroth's Burst Soul Break, and Rain's Burst Soul Break. Honestly, I think I would take Raph off the list, Rainmaker, because she's only really good for lightning, and I guess it is, I mean, it is pretty damn good. Oh, did I forget Squall? Oh, sorry. Who would I remove for Squall? No, for my top 3 Solus. Squall's is definitely in the top 3. So it'd be Rain's, Squall. It's hard to choose between Rude and Sephiroth. I'm pretty sure Squall shows up in the festival. Just because it shows up a lot doesn't mean it's not the best. Yeah, Rude's is just a relic, but honestly, Sephiroth's might be too. It isn't... Sephiroth's is different because it's good, really good right now, because Sephiroth's BSB 2 and his USB together are really powerful. So, okay. We'll say Sephiroth's, but Rude's is like a special consideration. Sephiroth's BSB 2 also showed up on the first banner of the Japanese festival. Doesn't mean it's guaranteed to show up on ours. It is only good for the Earth Relic, but that's a really good reason to like it. Toshiro, I want a USB first, because the USB is what grants him Endark stacking status. So if you use the if you use the BSB, it would be included in the USB. Sorry. If I had his LMR along with that, then I would do USB BSB. No LMR, then BSB USB. Because if you have his LMR, then you already have Endark, and you want to include that in the stack. So you'd want to catch that and take it along with the USB first. Where if you use the Burst Soul Break first, it wouldn't stack it. Wow. My crystal luck has been unreal today. Whoa! That's how we roll. That's the first time this has ever happened to me. Yes, she is, E-Daddy. She's a non-protagonist version of Lightning. There's no way Sephiroth's Burst isn't worth it, unless, you know, I don't know. It's not something to build a team around. Do you have dark weapons for all of your the ninjas that you're using? I don't know. Can we be good non-lightning elements too? No. Can't believe it's 10. How long have I been streaming? 2.5 hours just for this single selection. I'm not supposed to stream on Tuesdays. This is the bad part about not getting 24 hours notice on stuff. Like, I could have planned. This was an awful time to stream. But I suppose I should expect it on festival months. I'm just gonna have to make it up at another time. All right. I need a drink. I need something to eat. That Discord link might be old. Let me update it. There we go. Alright. Yeah, have a good night, everybody. I'll be streaming tomorrow for my usual Wednesday stream. We'll do Final Fantasy 1 things in the preview for Final Fantasy 4. So, have a good one. I'll talk to you then. Stop streaming button.